Welcome back. You're watching World Talks, and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. U.S. President Donald Trump is wrapping up his Middle East tour, which included major arms and trade deals signed in Qatar. On Thursday, Trump stated he might travel to Istanbul on Friday to join Ukraine and Russia peace talks if meaningful progress is made. Quote, "I'm thinking about going. If something happens and it makes sense, I would go," end quote, he told Reuters. Trump is set to conclude his trip in the United Arab Emirates. Could the Golden Age tour mark a global power shift? What could this mean for the EU? Here to discuss this with me is Witold Repetowicz, research fellow at the Casimir Pulaski Foundation. Thank you for joining.
Good morning.
So let's take a look at some of the breaking news we've heard from President Trump. In your opinion, is it likely that he is actually going to decide to travel from the Middle East to Istanbul to join the talks?
Well, I think that there is no sense to join the talks after Russia has announced the delegation. This is a very low-level delegation from Russia. Neither Putin nor even Lavrov is going to Turkey, and it was clear from the very beginning that this is just that Putin is not treating seriously these talks. He was betting on refusal of Zelensky to go to Turkey, but Zelensky didn't go to this trap. So now Putin is degrading the level of these talks to make these talks fruitless. And so
was that the idea from the very start, you think, by Vladimir Putin?
Vladimir Putin wanted to show that Zelensky does not want to talk, and he does not want peace, and to blame Zelensky for failing these talks.
So from that, because this was a piece of breaking news, let's jump to the original subject. The Saudi investment in the U.S. Seems to solidify the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the U.S. Should the EU be concerned about somewhat being sidelined when it comes to those deals that were being made between the two?
Well, it is not a surprise, this deal. Maybe the amount is very impressive, but it was quite obvious from the very beginning of this of Trump's second presidency that Saudi Arabia would be the major partner of United States. There was some problems with this because at the very beginning it seemed that Trump will be working more closely with Israel, or to be more precise, with Benjamin Netanyahu. And the present policy of Benjamin Netanyahu is a problem for this cooperation between U.S. and Saudi, and not only Saudi but also Qatar and Emirates, and also Israel, because the insistence of Netanyahu to continue the war in Gaza, and his policy to not let the negotiations with to conclude the war to succeed were a problem for Saudis. But it seems that Trump changed his attitude, and now he marginalized Netanyahu because money is more important for him. Then
he's a businessman after all.
Yes,
he's made it very clear from the start.
And after all, this is not in interest. What is Netanyahu doing is not in interest of Israel as well, because what is in Israel's interest is to jump to this train and to stop the war, to conclude to make the deal with Saudis to let Saudis join Abraham Accords, and this would be much more beneficial for Israel's security than what is Netanyahu doing now. And it seems that Trump finally understood this, and also he understood that Benjamin Netanyahu is doing some moves behind Trump with some members of his administration. Well, the dismissal of Waltz from the position of national advisor was probably due to some talks between him and Israel to act against the negotiations with Iran that Trump is conducting, and Trump does not want to strike to solve the problem with Iran with any military action.
But let's pull back now that we have this context fixed in place. These latest developments, especially in regards to this deal and the situation with Israel, how are they going to affect the European Union and, most importantly, our regions, Central and Eastern Europe?
Well, if
directly or indirectly?
If implemented, it will be a positive impact because what is going on in Middle East, there is a chance to stabilize Middle East. I would like to stress that this is a chance. It is not for sure. But, the decision to meet Ahmed Shara and to lift sanctions on Syria, this is a very risky decision, but at the same time, it gives hope that Syria will be stabilized, and you see, this is a problem for destabilized Middle East is a problem primarily for Europe, because this caused the migration, this caused the terrorist threat. One of the parts of this deal with Shara would be to control that Shara troops will take control over the prisons in Syria with Daesh, with Islamic State prisoners, captured earlier by Kurds. And this is very important because if there's a lot of problem with this control, and this is a time bomb because there's a lot of potential terrorists who may go to Europe if the Middle East is destabilized. And also, it would be very good also for Europe if Iran stop its policy to get nuclear weapons, and at the same time the market, Iranian market would be open, the isolation would stop, because this is some competition for Russia regarding gas, regarding oil. And
let me stop you here for a second, because you've touched upon something incredibly important, something that was part of the deal that was struck during this Middle Eastern tour, the Golden Age tour, as it was deemed. Having this increasing oil production and having this deal between the U.S. And Saudi Arabia, how do you think that European prices, oil prices, and energy sector are going to respond to this deal that was struck when it comes to oil?
Well, I'm not so much expert on energy market, but I think that if there is stabilization in the Middle East, so the prices will go down. and also if there is no war with Iran, Iran's war would skyrocket the prices, and this is also why Russia is completely not interested in the deal between U.S. and Iran and in stabilization of Middle East, because if Iranian oil and gas enter the market, it would be bad for Russia. Of course, it would be also not so good for Saudi Arabia, for example, because this is for them it is competition.
It's still competition.
But on the other hand, a war, a regional war, would be much worse for all the countries. There are some. There's a problem also with bombing the nuclear sites, because according to information that was provided by I think it was Emirates or Qatar, it would contaminate the water of the Gulf, and it will deprive the whole peninsula.
I mean, millions upon millions of people would be affected if such scenario was to take place.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Something that we faced in Chernobyl in '86.
Yeah, exactly.
A similar contamination could have taken place.
Arabs don't want the war. It would benefit only Russia.
Thank you so much, Witold Repetowicz, research fellow at the Casimir Pulaski Foundation.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you on the show. Thank you. And so this would be all for now here on World Talks, but please do stay tuned. We're back in just a moment with more news and features, and we'll see you there.